Welcome back to the deep dive. Great to have you with us. Today, we're continuing our journey into MySQL Group Replication. This is episode 4 in our series on group replication and InnoDB cluster. And today, we're focusing squarely on the essential requirements you need to get group replication up and running smoothly. So, what's the plan? First, we'll dig into the key infrastructure bits and pieces. Then, we'll switch over to the specific server configuration settings you absolutely need to nail. And just a quick note, our main insights today come from kedar.nitty-witty.com.
Yeah, and it's really important to get this right. Group replication, it's fantastic for high availability, for fault tolerance. But meeting these requirements, it's not just ticking boxes. It's fundamental for, well, for everything, working reliably and performing well. Skip this, and you're asking for trouble.
Okay, got it. So it's foundational. Let's dive into that foundation then. What are the absolute must-haves infrastructure-wise? First thing I see is the storage engine. It has to be InnoDB, right?
That's the one. No exceptions. All your data must be in InnoDB tables. The reason comes down to how group replication works. It uses something called optimistic execution.
Optimistic execution.
Yeah, basically it lets transactions run first and then checks if they conflict with anything else happening concurrently across the group. If there is a conflict, group replication needs to be able to roll that transaction back cleanly to keep everything consistent. And InnoDB, with its AC BiDiPrds, is built for exactly that kind of rollback. Using other engines like, say, memory, you'll just run into errors.
Makes sense.
So yeah, best practice is definitely convert any non-InnoDB tables.
Yeah.
And you might even want to disable other engines completely using disabled storage engines, just to be safe.
Okay, solid advice. What about primary keys? I hear those are crucial too.
Crucial is the word. Every single table involved in replication needs either a proper primary key or at least a non-null unique key.
And why is that so important?
Well, these keys are how group replication uniquely identifies each row. When transactions potentially conflict, GR needs a reliable way to pinpoint exactly which rows are involved. Without that unique ID, figuring out conflicts accurately is, well, pretty much impossible. It's fundamental for the conflict detection mechanism. And interestingly, group replication actually has its own checks for primary keys, separate from the score-acquired primary key server setting.
So it really enforces this.
Right, an extra layer of safety. Okay, now let's talk network. This seems like where things could get really tricky. Network performance. Oh, absolutely. The network is like the central nervous system here. Group replication needs the server instances to be physically close. You need low latency, high bandwidth. Think milliseconds matter. Communication has to be constant, bidirectional between all the members in the group. Any network glitch, latency spikes, packet loss, even a misconfigured firewall blocking ports, it's going to cause problems. It impacts group communication, status updates, everything. Imagine a busy online store or a bank's transaction system. You can't afford network delays messing with data consistency. Performance is reliability here.
So it needs a solid, fast connection. What about the actual network protocols? Any flexibility there?
Yeah, there's good flexibility. GR uses TCP, and it works fine over IPv4 or IPv6 or even a mix of both. You can run it across a VPN too if needed. And even if your servers are on the same physical machine, they still use TCP for things like a new server joining the group.
Okay, that covers the infrastructure side. Now let's pivot to the MySQL server settings themselves. These seem really specific.
They are, and getting them right is critical. Let's run through the main ones. First off, servered. Every server in the group needs a unique positive integer ID. Simple, but essential. Can't have duplicates.
Got it. Unique ID. What's next?
Then the binary log bin, must be enabled. Good news is it's on by default in MySQL 8.4 now. Group replication relies on the binary log to, well, replicate the data changes. Tied to that is log replica updates on EN. Also default in 8.4, thankfully.
And why is that one needed?
It makes sure that when a server receives a transaction from the group, it also writes it to its own binary log. This is vital for distributed recovery. If a server needs to catch up, it uses those binary logs. I've seen cases where this was missed. Recovery becomes a nightmare. Definitely double check it.
Right, makes sense. Keep going.
Okay, bin log format absolutely must be ROW. Again, this is the default in 8.4. Group replication needs the detailed row-level information to properly detect conflicts and ensure changes are applied consistently everywhere.
Row format check. What about GTIDs?
Ah, yes, Global Transaction Identifiers, or GTIDs. Super important. You need both GTID mode ON and Enforced Consistency ON. GTIDs are essentially how group replication tracks which transactions have been committed across the entire cluster. It's the master ledger, if you will. You also need to manage GTID purged correctly, usually setting it when GR isn't running initially.
Okay. GTIDs on. Anything else major?
A couple more key consistency things. Default HTML encryption. This setting needs to be the same on all members, either all ON or all OAuth, and you cannot change this while group replication is active. That's a big gotcha.
Ooh, good tip.
Same idea for lowercase dependable names. Has to be identical across all members. Value 1 usually works fine with InnoDB. And those replica parallel workers. You want this enabled, which means setting it to a non-zero value. It's on by default.
For performance, right. Implying transactions faster.
Exactly. It lets replicas apply transactions in parallel, which is huge for keeping replication lag down. If you set it to 0, you basically force single-threaded applying, which can become a bottleneck. Though, even at 0, one worker is still used for retrying transactions with GTIDs.
Okay, nearly there.
Last one, mainly for MySQL 8.4 and newer, to repair, it should stay on N, which is the default. This relates to XA transactions. Those are complex transactions that span multiple systems. Group replication needs this setting enabled to handle them correctly. Don't turn it off. Just be aware, you can't use temporary tables inside these detached XA transactions. So yeah, the big picture with all these settings, consistency, especially around the binary log and transaction handling, that's what lets group replication do its magic reliably.
Wow, okay. That's quite a list, but it makes sense how they all fit together. So, wrapping this up for everyone listening, what's the key takeaway here? Meeting these requirements is not just busy work, is it?
Not at all. It's the groundwork. It's what makes the difference between a stable, high-performance group replication setup that you can trust and one that keeps you up at night. And understanding these requirements isn't just about setup. It helps you think ahead, troubleshoot potential issues, and really design your database infrastructure robustly. Especially crucial if you're running things like critical e-commerce platforms or financial systems where you absolutely cannot afford downtime or data inconsistencies.
Excellent point. It's about building that resilience from the start. Well, if you found this deep dive valuable, please do give us a like, share it with colleagues or friends who might be wrestling with database high availability or just interested in these technologies. And of course, please subscribe to the channel for more deep dives like this one. Thanks for tuning in.